fancy I am in these photos. There we go. This is Sally's before and after of just a bond. Like, wild.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
There was absolutely no color. Just, I don't even know if I cut it. But not significant.
Yeah. All right, Sally, you're up. Okay, so we're gonna, you guys get to hear a whole segment from Sally.
Wait, I want to show
Look at
you
you,
something.
don't like it. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
So the other thing about the anti-hair loss system, I don't know that I have ever sold out consecutively so quickly the anti-hair loss system as a retail product. And not just the regular size retail ones, the back bar sizes. And they don't even blink that it's $90 a bottle. They don't give a shit because it works. Okay? And so the reason I say this is how many of us in the room are doing extensions right now? Show of hands, put them up. All right, well, you're not, probably should, but anyway, I'm just kidding. But for those of us that are, this is like a non-negotiable for my extension clients because it slows down shedding. Okay, so and that is something other hair loss or hair growth products cannot claim. They're claiming to regrow hair. Whereas this product will do that, but it also prevents excessive shedding. And so how many of us have clients that are coming in that their recession areas are pretty bad, a little far, like back here, right? And so, and we have a lot of hormone issues, we have a lot of things going on with our clients that, and this is like not meant to like insult anybody in the room, but a lot of my clients are taking a shot. And you guys may know what I'm talking about, right? They're injecting things into their body to help them lose. That's great. And it's helping, but there are some things that are happening, right? There are some things that are happening. And so we're seeing some negative results in the hair department from some of these things. And so what I have personally experienced is that I'm sending this home with these clients and they're having positive results. Their hair is not falling out quite as quickly. They're not losing the density as quickly, and they're actually improving it. And I have 3 clients I can think of in particular that after 1 round, and I'm telling you this was 6 weeks in between their appointments, they walked, my one client, she's in her 60s, her hair is short, but she walked in like she was ready to pole dance. She was like, and her hair is this long. Like, I'm not kidding, she couldn't even stand herself, her hair was so thick. She was like, and that was after 1. Okay, so I'm just saying, if you haven't dabbled into it, I highly recommend.
She hired.
But we should do it.
All right, so this is Sally Limo, my dear friend. I'm so blessed to have been able to.
I hated her when I first met her. I thought she was such a bitch. I met her on the phone, we never even met each other, and we got off the phone and I was like, oh, this bitch, okay. And now she's like one of my best friends, I can't even see her.
So she is actually Clip Hair Boss on Instagram. Make sure that you check her out, follow her. Yes. At Cleveland Hair Boss.
Oh, yeah.
I take the cutest photos. You do, like your photos crack me up. I love them.
What, of me?
Yes, like in the airport, in the bathroom, on the airplane, girl, wow. Like freedom, nobody cares. I love this.
Like, one of the things I'm known for is being a disaster and being okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one, I've been wanting to shave my armpits for you guys this morning, it just did not happen, so I'm like, we're natural, right? We're gonna roll with it. I'm right here. And it's just unapologetic, I don't even know what to say.
So Sally, back to business. Like, this is
Sorry,
fine.
okay, let's go.
So Sally has a phenomenal education tour. She will just launch her fall tour. We have her flyer at the color booth. So she has placed it with a purpose. She teaches coiling techniques that are very sustainable monetarily and time-wise to help your business so that you're reducing the time that you're spending on a client by doing less oils within the placement that she teaches. It's outstanding for models today. One of them particularly was only maybe 10 coils, and it's truly an incredible transformation. So I'm excited for you to get just a taste of what she has to offer within her education tour. She's going to take you through our new launch, which is the liquids, the new liquid colors, which are our fully acidic toning line that we have available for coloring. What else? Check out everything at the booth. Yeah, I don't know. What else?
I don't know, let's get started.
Let's get started. I want her to share her story and
Why
why.
did you do that now?
I do. Why?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know when I was supposed to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Hi. My name is Sally Lowe. I do have an account on Instagram. It's called Cleveland Hair Loss. It's on TikTok also. And I'm somewhat of an accidental influencer. And so I didn't even like that word influencer. I think it's really weird. But I've been so blessed and honored to be trusted with having a little bit of a following on Instagram. And one of the things that I do on there is I teach. And how this kind of came about was during COVID. I was so stressed out for our industry and we were so disconnected immediately. And I was like, I don't know what to do, but I know how to teach. So and the reason I share this is because as Lisa shared, how many of us have this love-hate relationship with Instagram, right? And so for me, Instagram prior to that was just sharing pretty pictures that made me feel good. But then it turned into sharing, connecting things that kept us connected as an industry. And the reason I even say that is, I don't even know why the fuck I said that.
Part of who you are and your brand over.
Oh yeah, thank you. I was like, sorry, I love Jesus, but I say the F word like a lot, and I'm trying to not. Okay, I'm so sorry. Anyway, the reason I say that is that if you are not following me, I was like, wait, why am I getting to that? If you do not follow my page, one of the things that I do on that page is I share a lot of free education. I am actually a barber, which surprises a lot of people, and I predominantly teach hair color and some business building skills. And the thing about what I teach is the intention behind it is to help us to do more in less time, to help us feel better, to help us not abuse our bodies, to help us stop running behind, and to actually create our own method. And so that is what I teach. And along the way, I happened to meet Naturally. And the reason I met Naturally is because 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I also am a breast cancer survivor. So I just had the 3-year anniversary of my little mastectomy last week. And so I chose not to do reconstruction, and I just mentally couldn't handle the thought of something else being in my body. And about a year after my diagnosis, I went down a rabbit hole, and I developed so much fear because I had gotten the results of my genetic testing, and the genetic testing proved that the cancer that I had was not from genetics. It was solely from my environment. And that scared me, like real bad. And so I was like, I need to, if I can't find something to use behind my chair that doesn't have the ingredients that I know that I have been using and that have been on my body and absorbing into my body for almost 35 years, I'm gonna have to stop doing what I love. And that, created a whole kind of thing. So I started looking for actually a different brand that someone had told me about. And I thought I was on their website and I saw the word Naturally at the top, and I thought it was them just telling me how natural it was. I thought it just meant natural in a different language. I had no clue I was actually on their page until I started to kind of dig deeper, and I was like, wait, what is this? And I ended up connecting with Sandy, and they sent me some products, and the relationship started from there. And one of the things that I discovered very quickly is I didn't know how horrible I felt until I didn't. Does that make sense? Every day, I didn't really realize that what I was putting on my body, what I was allowing to absorb in my body. Our skin is the biggest organ. It's the largest organ in our body, and most of us probably don't even think of it as one. I know I never did, right? Until I understood more fully what was happening. Our clients are only being exposed to those chemicals, once every 4 weeks, 5 weeks, some 6 months. We're being exposed to it, every 4 minutes? And so when we think about that, right, when we think about that, it's like, oh my God, like what am I allowing to touch my body and absorb into the other organs that have a hard enough time removing the toxins as it is? Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And so I've now been using Naturally for a little over a year, right? I have completely converted my salon, and the transformation. I was meeting with Soren, and the transformation that has happened in my salon environment, in my health, in my mindset, through transitioning into working with a brand that sees me as a person and not as a puppet, that wants me to be healthy and not just the consumer, partnering with a brand who it was created by someone that had breast cancer at a young age and knew exactly what I was looking for, changed so much more for me. And so it wasn't just the product that completely transformed how I was doing hair behind the chair, but it was the mission behind the brand. And one of the things that stood out to me so much is I was having a conversation with Soren. Do you guys, anyone here know who Soren is? He's freaking hilarious. And we went live on my page. And if anybody's interested in that particular live, if you DM me, I can tag you in it because there's so much more information from the horse's mouth and answered questions I didn't even know I had. But one of the things he shared with me was that there are over 2,500 chemicals that are banned in Denmark. Do you know how many are banned in the United States? 11. What? And this product is produced in Denmark. So he's like, Sally, even if we wanted to use products, we can't. If we wanted to use some chemicals, we can't. And so there's protection in that for me. And there was so much peace, in that for me. Like, listen, if that happens to me, did you guys hear that? My hanging book tries to kill me every now and again. It's like crazy. Like, I was teaching one time, I have to tell you this story. I was teaching one time, I was on stage, it was like 1,000 people, okay? It was like, I worked for a brand, we were on stage at Stage Partner, and that happened to me, and I go, oh my God, my vulva just tried to kill me. Because I'm funny. I think I'm funny, right? And so my stage partner looks at me, he goes, what the is wrong with you? And I was like, he said, you're not. And I'm like, and nobody laughed, by the way. Nobody thought it was funny. And so, and the owner of the company was sitting in the audience. Okay, so I get off the stage, and my stage assistant, I hand her the card, and she goes, you know that's not your vulva, right? And I said, what? She goes, it's called your uvula. I said, what? She said, your vulva is down here. What? I was like, clearly I missed that class. Oh my God. I've been saying it for a year, by the way. For a year on stages, and no one corrected me. That's nice. So if that happens, it's just my vulva. So anyway, but so the fact that this product is produced in Denmark was another thing that sealed the deal for me. So that's a little bit, I guess, a long-winded part of my story, was that in order for me to stay in the industry that I love and has loved me for so many years, I knew that I had to make a change. And so to tell you that I've done the work, I've done the research, I know what's out there because of the endless nights I spent searching. I personally chose this brand because of everything that it gives me, but also because of everything that it is. Well, all right, thank you so much. So now, the other thing that has blessed me so much is that Naturally now has a color line that is truly acidic. Okay, it's truly acidic. It is a deposit-only acidic hair color. And one thing that I think is important for us to know is that not all deposit-only hair colors are acidic. Did everybody know that? Has anybody ever used any deposit-only colors and on finer hair, it might shift the base of it. Or you go to lighten it out and there's very strong banding, right? That's because the color isn't truly acidic. Here's what happens. Once that color is mixed with its processing solution, it will range below 7. 7 is neutral. Hair on the pH scale lives from 4.5 to 5.5. Well, if it's going to live above hair, right, it's more alkaline than hair. That will create a base shift. Does this make sense? So the thing about Natural League is that it truly is acidic and it truly lives where hair lives. So we can trust it that it's not going to shift the base, okay? And so here are a few, did I? No. I'm like, what is that? Okay, all right, so here are a few things about the deposit-only hair color that we can know and trust. Right now, there are 23 shades, with more to come. Okay, so and from what I understand, there's going to be about 20 more, right? I'm not supposed to say that. I'm lying, I don't even know what I'm talking about. Don't listen to anything I'm saying, there's more coming. All right, but right now there's 23 shades. The 23 shades that are available are truly probably the ones that you need right now. Okay, they're the ones you need right now. They're the most corrected, the tonal quality is incredible, and I'll share with you what those are. Additionally, and 3 of those are mixed tones. Okay, 3 of those are mixed tones. Additionally, there is clear. And so clear is given to our provider for us to be able to adjust the visual opacity. We can also use it as a standalone, as a shine treatment. Okay, are there any questions on that so far? Cool. Now, no. Okay, all right, so this is a truly zero lift formula. I cannot stress this enough. You can trust this. How many of us in the room are using Natural League permanent hair color right now in the tube? Show of hands, put them up high. Okay, how many of us are using a color line that is a demi and it slightly shifts the base? Like we want to use it as a toner, but it kind of slightly shifts the base, right? Now for me, I had learned how to adjust Natural League to use as a toner, but sometimes it still shifted the base, right? I played around with it, I did things like that. Natural League came out with this for us so that we can truly have the confidence of not exposing unwanted warmth. Okay, how many of us have experienced that preview? Super fun. Okay, cool. Now, it's very easy to use. It has a very versatile application. Once you mix the 2 components together, the color that's in the bottle and the activator, it's going to be very liquidy at first. But as you start to shape your bottle, as you start to mix it in your bowl, you're going to notice it very quickly becomes a gel-like consistency. What's wonderful about it is it's thin enough to work in a bottle to give us a very thorough and quick application, but it's thick enough to use with a bowl and brush for it not to drip anywhere or on hair that we don't want it to drip on. Who's experienced that? Just me? Cool. Okay, go back. I'm not done. The camera. I have a little words in. All right, so now we have a 20-minute processing time. Can you process it for less? Wait, no. I'm trying to think how, no. Okay, well, we'll talk about that later. But it is recommended, the full processing time is 20 minutes. So it, as I shared earlier, it does have an acidic pH. How many of us are familiar with what acidic means? Show of hands. Or alkaline. Okay, so I'm a barber, and I didn't learn a lot about those things. And when I went, I became a Redken educator so that I could learn what the educators knew, because I didn't know anything about hair color. And they said, so if something is acidic, does it lift or deposit? And I said, yes, it does. Popped away, because I didn't know, right? So when we think of acidic, think of the D as deposit. Okay, so if something says it's acidic, an easy way for me to remember is deposit, or the cuticle is more depressed, right? But if it's alkaline, we want to think alkalift. Okay, so those are just 2 ways to be able to think of that. So when we're going to grab a hair color, we can trust and know what it's prepared, what it's going to do. Now, it is 100% ammonia-free. Hallelujah. Right? This is another reason why I partnered with Naturally. When I went for a follow-up with one of my doctors, she goes, so how long have you been doing hair again? And I said, oh, well, almost 35 years. I was 6 when I started. And so she said, have you ever had a scan of your lungs? I was like, why would you say that to me? Like, give me something else to think about, please, right? And she said, well, you've been breathing in one of the most, she said this to me, the doctor said this to me, she said, you have been breathing in regularly one of the most toxic chemicals in the world. I said, what? I never really thought about that before. She said, I think maybe we should do a scan of your lungs. Okay, great, thank you. But so this is another thing that reinforces my choice, is not only is the permanent color ammonia-free, but so is the deposit-only color. It has an aromatic scent. And if someone could grab, hey Anzie, little sweet angel baby, can you grab a couple of those bottles of liquids? Would you mind, and maybe Maggie, if you want to help me out, babe, can you walk around and like let everyone smell it? Like seriously, you guys have to smell this, and I want to hear collectively, I want to hear from you guys what you think this smells like. Because have any of us ever been doing color and your client is like, cool, right? Or like the great thing lately is my clients are like, wait, are you done? And I'm like, yeah, she's like, wait, I don't smell anything. Or like my eyes aren't burning, or whatever. The comments I get about this is about the smell. My clients can't get over how wonderful it smells. Okay, so I'd love for everybody to smell it because you're going to be like, what is this? Again, distraction, okay? It's deeply nourishing, it is vegan, and recyclable packaging. Amber, go. Okay. Luxury in every drop. So here are the ingredients that you can trust that have been chosen specifically to make this such an incredible product. So we have that first one, and then we have that second one. And then we have shea butter, argan oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, hyaluronic acid, triple ceramide complex, and that one, the last one. So those were strategically chosen. Next. All right. So now the 23 shades that we have. So here's something that's important to remember. And once you start using this, it'll be like clockwork. I personally came from a brand where it was numbers and letters. And so converting over to numbers and numbers, I was like, oh my God. But I was surprised at how easy it was to remember, okay? And I think the reason for that is also, is Naturally has intentionally not overloaded us with too many colors or shades that are going to sit on the back bar and not get used. We have the power to create within our color palette. So the 0.0s are the naturals. Okay, the 0.0s are the naturals. We have available 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 so far. When you mix these together, you can make the tones that are missing. So if you need a 5, you would mix a 4 and a 6, right? And so what I want to share, and it's important for us to remember this, the darker color always prevails. Okay, the darker color always prevails. So mixing equal parts will create a darker 5. Does this make sense? So just keep that in mind, and the texture of the hair you're working with, and the porosity of the hair you're working with. Okay? But the darker color always prevails. Oh, can we go back? We have our 0.18s that are ice violet. 0.3s that we have available right now are the level 8 and level 10. This is where we're going to have some gold available to us. I add 8.3 to almost everything, even if it's just 5 grams, or the 0.83, which is gold violet, just to help anchor things and to not allow any of my tonal control to take over. And then we have our 0.11s, which are like our ice brown, ice blonde, ice light blonde, intense ice blonde, and platinum blonde. And then the 0.21s, which are going to be ash, leaning more towards green. And then right now, so far, we have 7.66, which is the intense copper blonde. But to be honest with you, I add a lot of this to a lot of the hair that I'm looking to take darker, that I needed to kind of fill along the way. So it's not bright orange. Okay, it's not bright orange by itself. It is the most beautiful coppery tone. And then we have our mixed shades available right now, which are the 0.11s, which is intense ice, 0.66, which is intense copper, and 0.83, which is violet gold. It's more like a beige. Cool. Are there any questions on that? All right. So moving forward. So it has endless shine and transparency control. Now here's one thing I have personally experienced with this line. Other lines that I have used prior that are deposit only, and they don't ship, supposedly don't ship the base, is the translucency. It's hard for me to trust the amount of translucency, right? Some of them do very well, some of them cover awesome, some of them are like clear, right? And it's not always, it hasn't always been consistent for me. One of the things I've experienced personally with the liquids that I'm obsessed is that it's a little more opaque than other deposit-only lines out there in the best way possible. Okay? The deposit is so even. The deposit is so even, but it's not too heavy. Does that make sense? Is everyone clear on what I mean by that? You know, sometimes we can like glaze hair and it has a heavy diode look.
Yeah.
Whereas this does not create that. It creates the most even, most beautiful end result. And so it can be used as a standalone gloss or shine service if we're going to use the color, the clear. The clear is what this one's about. The clear you can use as a standalone shine service, but you can also use it to dilute the color that you're using. And so one thing that's important to remember, if we're going to choose clear, okay? So I want you to think of your color as a cup of coffee, a cup of black coffee. So if I were to add water to a cup of black coffee, will it still be black? Yes or no? Yes, it will just be more sheer, right? So I'm not diluting the visible tone. I'm not making the tone any lighter. I'm just making it less visibly opaque. Does that make sense? But if I want the shade to be lighter, okay, I want you to think of a cup of black coffee and I add cream to it. Is it still going to be black? No. If I want my shade to be lighter, I'm going to mix it with a level that's 2 to 3 shades lighter. Does this make sense? Or adding like a level 9 or 10. That will prevent it from diluting visibly and actually lightening the level. Is this helpful at all? Yes, no, maybe so? All right, awesome. So we'll move to the next slide. All right, so Naturally Liquid Color Activator. It is a premium, expertly crafted formula that has the hydrogen peroxide at 2%. It is ammonia-free. It is paraben-free. It is also vegan, and it does have a liquid water-like viscosity. So when it's by itself, it is the consistency of water, but once it is mixed with the tubes, that's when it creates that gel-like activity. Who smelled it? Who smelled it? What does it smell like? You want to chew on it like bubblegum, right? What else? I had someone tell me Now-Laters. I had someone tell me Lifesavers. Berry, grape. Right? Like the grape medicine or whatever we all used to try to take because it tasted good. Oh, that was just me, that's nice. Okay, but so that scent is so aromatic in the salon that people walking by actually stop and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's the hair color I'm using. They're like, wait, that's hair color? Okay, so that, it's so strategic, even the aroma of what we're using in the form of color to be able to create a better sensory experience. Okay, so we can keep going. Now, we want to make sure preparation is always your first key to success. So how we're going to mix this is you're going to mix your color or your clear if you're using it by itself, 1 part color or clear to 1 part activator. Okay, its mixing is 1 to 1. Diluting either one is not going to give you a consistent end result. Okay, it's not going to give you a consistent end result. It's also oxidizes slightly darker, and so what does this mean? It doesn't mean that it's going to physically be darker, it means visually, you may clench your butt cheeks as you're walking by. Turn them away from the mirror. You're going to put a level 9 on your blonde, it's going to look like level 1. We're going to shake your hands. Okay? Maybe right in front of that. all right? So turn them around and trust the process. So it's going to oxidize, visually darker than what it is. When we were doing Lisa's hair, like her hair literally looked like I put a level 1 on her. And she's one of my models, and we'll bring her up in a minute. And you'll see it's absolutely stunning, and we just have to trust the process, okay? So also, we talked about the viscosity already. And the other thing, hey Amber, do we have any color bottles here? By chance? I might. Hey Angie, in my bag that's down there, can you see if there's a color bottle? And so, as I shared earlier, we can use this with a bowl and brush. And if there's a brush in there, a color brush in that bag too, if you could bring it. I just want to talk about it real quick. And we also can use a bottle. Now, it is highly recommended that you weigh your color. How many of us use a scale? Show of hands. How many of us like to wing it and play Russian roulette? Right? Look at her. All right? So, highly recommend that you weigh your color and use grams. Okay? Use grams. And so 30 grams is equivalent in the world of hair color. I think an official ounce is 33 point something grams. But in the world of hair color, 30 grams is equivalent to an ounce. Is everybody clear on that? Okay? And so, thank you, Nancy. And so one of the things I wanted to share about these two things that Naturally has created for us to use. So when we're going to be using a bottle, what are you noticing about the tip of this bottle? Can anyone see it? It's slightly tilted, yes? Okay. Here's what I want to show you. Can I touch it? What if this was COVID? Hell no! Okay. So when you have it, if we're holding it like this, it's actually like using your finger. Because it's not straight, everything isn't going to just fall off. So it is strategically created that we can literally pick up hair and it's long enough. You ever use bottles where it's just not long enough or it's too thick or whatever? This is strategically created also to help us move more efficiently and to move faster using our tools. Okay? And so the end is just narrow enough to control how much product is going to go out, but it's not going to be so narrow. I use bottles where I'm like, and I get carpal tunnel by the time I'm done, or I have to cut the tip off, right? And so this is phenomenal. This is my favorite bottle. I have like 3 of them, and I fight with everyone else in the salon. They're my favorite. Now, this brush. You don't have this brush. This brush is my favorite for highlighting, but also when I'm applying the liquid hair color. And here's why, okay? Especially, and I'll share with you on my models, especially if I'm looking to melt colors into each other, okay? Especially for highlighted hair with lightener, when I'm looking for a softer grow out, when I'm looking to blend, but when I'm also looking for full saturation. These brushes are incredible because the edges are soft. Okay, it's not a hard line. It's very hard to create a soft line when using a hard line. Does that make sense? Yeah? So what's wonderful about these is that it's soft here, but it's firm enough that I can push the color through to the other side of my section. Okay? It makes a difference. If we're using long bristled brushes that have a hard line to cover gray, to highlight with, to do things like that, and we're seeing lines, that could be the one reason why. And what I love about this for using the liquid color is it allows me to get full saturation because they're not so like loose. Okay, does this make sense? Excuse me. All right, awesome. So now let me see. Okay, so in using a bottle, we use that for toning or refreshing. You can use it at the shampoo bowl for a quick application, but also using a bowl and a brush is ideal for root shadows, gray blending, and when we want to control how far down the hair our color is going to go. Do we have any questions so far? How's your day? Is it good? Okay, awesome. So the next one. Okay, so it is recommended, and this is my personal recommendation, is hair color should always be applied to clean hair, to a clean scalp, right? But it is recommended that this hair color is applied to clean hair. Here's something that's important to remember, okay? If we're not getting the gray coverage with our permanent color, if we're not getting the deposit with our deposit-only color, hair color is not designed to cover gray or to change the visual end result of hair through a week's worth of dry shampoo. It's not meant to cover gray or blend gray through gray sprays, right? It's not designed for that. So one of the things that's important to remember, most of the time whenever I share that, I hear, well, I don't have time to shampoo the hair. Here's one thing that is important to remember. Water lives at a 7, hair lives at a 4.5 to 5.5. When we apply hair color to damp hair, not wet, but damp, we're actually increasing the alkalinity of the environment, allowing our hair color to absorb even better. Okay? So we have the time. We do have the time because you can apply hair color to damp hair. Now, if we apply our liquid hair color to sopping wet hair, we actually will dilute the color. Sally's stepping outside of the manufacturer's direction box. Sometimes I want that. Sometimes I want that. So I will glaze out the bowl with this, and it is absolutely incredible, the end results, when I sometimes just want to kiss it and bless it as it's walking out the door. You guys know what I'm talking about? 3 to 5 minutes? Love it, right? If I want it to be a fuller deposit, and the porosity of the hair is questionable. You guys know what I'm talking about? If you ever apply liquid hair color over bone dry hair, you have to use what? 342 ounces, right? And they're still spotting. Or it takes over and it can go dark in some areas. So sometimes you want to apply to damp hair. When you're applying it to damp hair, it's not going to dilute your product. It actually will absorb better. So we can go to the next slide. Okay, so these are the different possibilities we have. We can tone, root shadow gloss, shine treatment, refresh our colors, add dimension. This is wonderful for low lights. Wonderful for low lighting. And then also color corrections and grade blending. One of the things we're finding, especially at level 4, is that we're getting even more visible coverage. With some of that on certain hair types of grade blending is a fuller visible coverage without a line of demarcation. So now here is our timing. If anyone wants to take a picture of this or you have any questions. So gloss and tone, the recommended amount of processing time is 20 minutes. Guess what? They all say 20 minutes. You don't necessarily have to. Here's for me, when I'm doing a root shadow personally, and I would recommend you write this down because this is really important to remember. When we're looking to shadow, how many of us do root shadows? What does a shadow do? The intention of shadowing is not to melt outlines. It's intended to blur them, right? It's intended to softly blur the lines. And so when we're looking to create a root shadow, you want to formulate within 2 levels. How many? 2 levels of what you've lifted to. If you've lifted to a 10, you don't want to go any darker than an 8. If you go darker than an 8, you've now moved into melting. Is this making sense? If you lift it to a 9, don't go any darker than a 7. Okay, so a root shadow is within 2 levels. For me personally, I leave it on. 7 minutes seems to be my sweet spot. 10-minute max for a shadow. The longer you leave it on, the more visible tone you're going to see. One person asked me, how long can you expect this to last? For me personally, however many minutes you leave it on, that's about how many shampoos you're going to get. So if you only leave it on for 5 minutes, you'll probably get about 5 shampoos. Does this make sense? Okay. So refreshing, correcting. Now, this is a wonderful product to use to fill the hair. The craziest thing I've experienced though is with Natural League, I find myself not having to fill the hair quite as often because the hair is just so freaking healthy and the components inside of the color are filling it as I'm going along the way. But should we need to, this would be your choice. Okay, this would be your choice for filling, and you want to fill 1 to 2 levels lighter than what you want your end result to be. Okay, remember that. 1 to 2 levels lighter than what you want your end result to be. Now, if we are grade blending and the intention is to truly grade blend, it's not like, oh, well, if they blend, that's cool. I want to grade blend. You're going to want to take this a little further and process 20 minutes with a cap under heat, and then 20 minutes out of the heat. Okay? Cool, any questions? Love that, let's go next. Yep. So now we talked about dilution. You can send you that, or you can take a picture of that. And then next. All right, so highly recommended that we shampoo with the Color Shield shampoo and that you use the Color Shield treatment after to lock in and seal in your end result. How many of us are using the Color Shield line? If you're not, I swear to you, you will blow your freaking mind on the longevity. And so the next slide. All right, we talked about all of this stuff. We do have other things available. It is our refreshers, which is a deposit-only experience. We have a few over there for you to see. I actually have the copper refresher on my hair. It is a treatment that you can do at the back bar or in the shower. And so it is a conditioning treatment. And so it really does help to elongate the color, but not like Liquids does. Liquids is going to be a true color service. Does this make sense? Cool. So let's move to the next one. So permanent color oxidizes inside the cortex. The Demony permanent colors oxidize on the outer layer of the cortex. So that's the difference, that we can trust it to be more on the outside instead of on the inside. So it's not going to expose any unwanted form. So this is our color wheel. Now this is just one thing I do want to share really quickly. In our permanent hair color line, the 0.0 does live. Our naturals are yellow based. In the liquid line, they actually live a little more here, the 0.0s. They're a tiny bit cooler than what they are in the permanent line, which I love. They are actually a true neutral. Okay, they're a true neutral. And I only want to share that so that you're not going in expecting it to be yellow, and it's not quite as yellow as the permanent color. Actually glorious. Okay, next one. Okay, we talked about all this. We can go to the next one. We talked about all this. We can go to the next one. All right, so these are a lot of befores and afters. We can share these actually through while we're eating lunch and doing things like that. But what I would love to do just very quickly, and while we're eating lunch, or while we're mingling, you can see some of the models that I did. But Reese, if you could come up here real quick. If you can go to, yeah. All right, so this is Reese's before. Okay, so when she, oh, what did I do? Woo! We'll get it up. We'll get it up. So I had the gift of Reese being my model when we were in Fayetteville in April, and we made her a vibrant, beautiful, bright blonde. And so she hadn't touched it since, and so we decided to move her back into her natural era. She's in her natural girl era now, right? So we brought her back to her natural level. And so this was her before. Right here, and so this is what we started with. And so what I did here, and so if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide. And so here is the formula that we used. And so, but the way I approached this might be different than what you're doing. I don't know if it is, you may be doing this already, but what I did was all over, root to end first. Root all the way to her ends. I did 10.3, 9.11, I added 0.83, 8.0, and 7.0. I added, it was 20 grams of 8.0, and then about 5 to 10 grams of everything else. Okay, she has a ton of hair. So I made sure to apply this root to end. I brushed through as I was going to make sure I had full saturation. As that was processing, right over top of that color, I didn't rinse it out. While it was processing, I took 7.0 from her root and melted it past her line of demarcation. Okay? So that created a little bit more, so you can see if she turns her head to the left. So you can see where it's darker, but it kind of starts to melt just a little bit. It's not just a hard deposit. Does that make sense? Okay, and so that's what we did here. Reese is gonna take a lap, shake it out, do all the good things. Go ahead, girl. Just weave them up, do the thing. You know what I mean? Look at her, flip, flip. Right? Okay, where's my other one? Over here. Girl, come here. All right, RMC. So we're gonna go to the next slide, and I want you to be able to see the before. So now, this is her before. We did place about 10 coils. This is the 10 coils and then air drying. So I moved up her roots just a little bit, but this is what we are starting with. So sorry. And then this is her after. So we're gonna take a spin here. Okay, and so what we did for her formula is I went in and I did her root stretch first. Now, I did her root stretch first because I wanted the full deposit of the level 4. I did Reese's after because I didn't want the full deposit of the level 7 by itself. Does that make sense? Okay, I wanted it to be slightly diluted and I wanted it to act a little more of a shadow form, which is why I applied it over top of the other hair color. In this case, I wanted the full deposit of the level 4. I applied it to her roots and pulled it slightly past the line of demarcation. Anywhere that was warm, that had that orangey tone, I didn't want to lose all of the warmth because warmth is beautiful. Beautiful? It's beautiful. Okay, warmth can be beautiful. It's not always brassy, right? There's a difference between warmth and brassy. So I want to maintain a more neutral end result, which is why the mids, I mixed 7.0 and 6.21. 6.21 has that green blue, but here's something we have to remember, is that the 7.0 and 6.21, where was I going to go with that? So I mixed that right through here, and then I melted that into the ends, which was the lightest part of 10.3, 9.11, 7.0, 0.083, 7.11, 7.66. Now, 7.66 is copper. We're not seeing a ton of copper in here, are we? Right? I put that in there just to create light reflect. As long as yellow is present, it will always appear brighter. Right? As long as yellow is present, it will always appear brighter. So it was important to me not to lose all of the yellow because that's when it can start to look flat, especially in brunettes. Does this make sense? Okay? So this was our end result here. What do you guys think? So I did place only 10 foils in her hair. I'm going to show you what I did at my station, or my station, you know what I'm talking about. I'll show you how we place them really quickly, but if there aren't any more questions, I think we're going to release you to the wild.
Well, I was gonna take the mic. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. I think we learned at least one golden nugget from this morning's session. When I first showed up yesterday and I met some of the women with the Natural Lead team, I wanted to be like, I'm so sorry, like I'm not affiliated with you guys, like I don't want to damage your brand. Because my hair was just like not washed for 6 days and in a bun, but now it feels fabulous. So right now we're going to do a special mix and mingle session. So there is an incredible spread in the back of the room. I'm like eyeing it up so y'all get there first. I'm about to put my face in it. So amazing butt hors d'oeuvres are going to come around, and this is your chance to really mix and mingle with each other, but go visit all the booths. And so at each booth you're going to find flyers. Pick up a flyer at each booth, and then I'm sure we've all taken some notes on things that we absolutely want to walk away with today. So when you check out is when you're going to receive your swag bag. So please make sure to visit every booth, pick up a flyer, and then that's kind of your like checkpoint to then get your swag bag. So please go enjoy.